This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a beautiful website or an online store. Yes, that's right, just like every summer, always since the beginning of time, I'm aching for a complete summer refresh. It's something about summer that makes me sort of step out of time and like step out of the everydayness, like routine of things. That's just golden for getting perspective, like seeing things clearly and like overhauling a lot of like old habits that need to go. Here's what I'm thinking for summer 2025. I want to be present mentally. I want to take care of my body. I want to like treat myself and indulge. And I want to reach an extreme level of focus while writing and while reading seriously during my holiday in Sweden. I want to do some serious reading. So I mentioned being like present mentally. I have a tendency to think ahead too much, like living in the future. And I also have a tendency for a frazzled mind, like when things get too hectic. I'm the type to get lost on my way home from the underground because my brain is like thinking about 100 different things besides where I'm going. Like honestly, like once every 2 weeks I get lost on my way home. I'm not even exaggerating. I just walk ahead and like forget to turn onto my street. Anyway, since I know that like being pulled in many different directions at once is quite deadly to my mind, I know that I need to be quite guarded with how much I pack in. And this is something that I've had like quite big problems with, and I'm sure many of you can relate, like when planning our trips, especially our trips to Sweden. So we visit Sweden maybe 2 times per year, and we almost always pack too many things in. Friends, family, different summer houses, different cities. So by the end of our 2-week holiday, we need a holiday just from like running around being frazzled and over planning. The same with our London lives, like during spring and summer and early autumn, there are usually so many events and parties and like social things, not to mention like work occasions and meetings. So we have learned the hard way that the only way to appreciate any of these things, like the seeing friends, the work events, the summer houses, is to prioritize and not try to pack in too much. I'm a natural yay sayer. Like if my publicist says, do you want to do this event or like write a feature for this magazine? My instinctual response is always to go like, ooh, fun, yes. But nowadays I'm being smarter because as it turns out, those things never end up being much fun when there are too many of them. So this summer I want to relish the plans that I make, which means planning for a break in between each plan. At least like 1 cushion day of just calmly being at home to sort of process and enjoy things before moving on to the next plan. I find that when I don't get a day or so to process, it makes me more anxious and like I'm feeling a bit unmoored. Do you ever feel that way when you get too many plans and you don't get a break in between? For me, summer is the season when I easily get lost in like too many fun but energy demanding plans. But not this year, no. I want to be present, I want to not feel frazzled or pulled in like 100 different directions. So I'm saying no. Taking care of my body means many things, not just the usual healthy eating and exercise. For me in the summer, I don't know why, but it's become important to me in the summer to just sort of let go of habits and just relax around health. Like I don't want to force myself to do mat work if I don't feel like it. And most importantly, I don't want to deprive myself of anything. I want to, in the summer month, to allow myself to be a complete mood person. Whatever I feel like eating or doing, I want to like allow myself the indulgence. Obviously, this is very healthy from a mental standpoint, this like total relaxation of shoulds, to just like go by impulse and whatever catches my appetite. But on the other hand, this can very easily snowball out of control for my poor body. Too much wine, white sugar, fatty, salty food, which is my personal go-to, and not enough movement. So instead of going too far in that direction, I want to eat delicious and decadent food. I want to drink ice cold wine, but in a fresh way. I'm thinking like an overload of strawberries and like kale salads and barbecue vegetables with tzatziki and lots of berries and watermelon. If I'm at home here in London, I'm usually fine to like keep a more fresh and nutrient-rich diet even when I'm indulging, because honestly, that's the type of food that I'm in the mood for anyway. But whenever we go to Sweden, even if we decide beforehand that we won't let it get out of hand, David and I always seriously overdo it with unhealthy foods. First of all, because there is like every summer so many new vegan things to try. And this is like childhood foods, like Swedish foods, things that we haven't been able to eat since we became vegan. Like skagenröra, cheese doodles, kebabs, kexchoklad. Like all of a sudden there are like veganized versions of this. Of course, we have to try like all of it. And also, since we're staying with other people, it means often eating whatever they're cooking. And when it comes to relatives, that might mean like blueberry pie and custard for lunch. So it's a tough one. The balance of both wanting to relax on the shoulds and like on the healthy everyday habits and feel like we're indulging and going by mood, at the same time as not like shocking our bodies into frenzy with white sugar for lunch. I'm not sure exactly how to manage this. Maybe it's actually not manageable, at least not on like our Sweden visits, until we one day, God's willing, have a summer house of our own with our own kitchen, our own ingredients, and our own sugarless lunches. Of course, here's where you come in, by clicking our videos and buying my books. If I write enough of them, then hopefully one day a little cabin by a lake will be ours. Anyway, I want to ask your advice here. Does anyone have a working attitude to this whole thing, indulging without overindulging during summer, and especially on trips? I want to go to Sweden this summer and enjoy myself and relax, but not come home with like bad skin, bloated, painful stomach, and like messed up hormones. Okay, a little bit of those things I wouldn't mind, but within reason. So give me your best advice and I'll report back after the summer. Of course, it won't all be fun and games and swimming in the lakes of Sweden this summer. It will be work as well. And I've said this before, but it's just something that I find ridiculously, intensely romantic about a hot summer of doing good work in London. Everyone else is off work, the city gets emptier, the weather is stifling hot, all the windows are open. This is like goosebump good to me, working under those heat wave, late balmy summer nights with the windows open type of circumstances. I work so well and I enjoy working so much in the summer, not least because hallelujah, there are no emails. No one wants anything from me. So it's the best time of year to like focus on my writing. How do you feel about working in the summer when everyone else seems to be off scuba diving on some Greek island? I like being home, like always, not least in the summer. I like seeing the flats and seeing my everyday mundane habits go through this heatwave holiday filter. So what I did last summer, which turned out to be beautiful, was to book a 3-week holiday at home as if I was away. So no plans, or almost no plans, and like keeping the days free and languid and out of time enough to get into that extreme state of relaxation where you don't know if it's Saturday or Tuesday and like you can't remember the last time you did your makeup. Just going on walks, reading on the balcony, watching summer films with David, and most importantly, doing good focused work, writing. Last summer I did a final round of edits on What a Time to Be Alive in the early summer, and I started planning my 3rd novel later in the summer. This year, I plan to work on the first draft that I have, or actually maybe now it's a 2nd draft, to like revise and polish until I feel like, what? I actually have something quite solid to send to my dear agent Peter for him to read and give his thoughts. Maybe even finding the time to do another round of edits after getting his notes. All while wearing next to nothing in front of the electric fan, trying to like catch a breeze by opening all the windows and like having a cool wet towel over my shoulders. That mood. Eating watermelon and broad beans for lunch. Reading, parts aloud to David on the balcony while chewing on ice cubes. That whole thing. In fact, the thing I want more than anything this summer is to create this setting. More than Sweden, more than any events or parties or other trips, what I want is to chew ice cubes, wear next to nothing, and work on my 3rd novel during a classic London heatwave with all the watermelon. I'm just being honest, like that's my kind of summer. If I can be in London with David, I'm usually a happy Jenny, like I'm not hard to please at all. I think that this way of looking at summer as a chance to sort of get out of your habits through working on the things you love and like eating what you're in the mood for and giving yourself time to sort of be still and recharge without pressing in too many plans. In my experience, it gives me like a type of break from my normal life, and this break means that I take a step back, and for some reason I see my life so clearly when I do this. Like I get a fresh perspective on my life. So when we get back to our everyday habits in early autumn, we so clearly see what we want to change or modify about how we're working and how we're scheduling our time. Does anyone else feel this way? Maybe this is why we love traveling so much. Not just for the experience of being somewhere else, but for the clarity it spreads on our own life once we get back home. I think this is what summer is for me. Even when I'm just at home working in London, it's kind of like a trip away from my everyday, and an opportunity to get some clarity. Refreshing indeed, no? So, what are you planning to change and refresh this summer? How do you want to feel when you get back to normal in autumn? And does anyone else also like staying in the city in the summer, like in the summer months? I hope that wherever your plans are, and please do share your summer plans. I'm very curious as always. I hope that you're like careful to relax and not plan too much, and that you allow yourself to like indulge in whatever your mood tells you, within reason, of course. I, for one, is already salivating at the champagne and strawberry moments that I will indulge in. Unparalleled combination, truly. It's a classic for a reason. Now, do you want to create a stunning website or launch your own blog? Squarespace has you covered with its latest innovations. First up, let's talk about the new design intelligence. Combining 20 years of design expertise with cutting-edge AI, this tool helps you unlock your creative potential, building a personalized, one-of-a-kind website that fits your needs. Squarespace also makes running an online store easier with Squarespace Payments. Onboarding is fast and you can start accepting payments in just a few minutes. Plus, it supports various popular payment options like Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay and others, giving your customers payment flexibility. And for seamless social media integration, Squarespace allows you to connect your social media accounts in just a few clicks, whether you're embedding a feed or syncing your products directly to Instagram or Facebook. It's an effortless way to expand your reach and keep everything in sync. So, what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/jennymustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Anyway, I think that's it for me today. Wishing you a beautiful rest of your summer and hope to see you very, very soon. Okay, bye bye.